The title of the next retreat is Live Free of Anxiety. I got that one right. So I did think about it today, and of course a downpour of information suddenly appeared, and far too much to try to explain as an invitation to the retreat. But I will say this about the subject matter and the reason for the relevance of a retreat on this subject is that I think that anxiety under today's conditions, and even more tomorrow's, is a near universal existential condition. Is there anyone here who doesn't occasionally feel bouts of anxiety? You're too anxious to know if it was a right answer or not. Okay, well, so it is universal here, and if it's universal at an ashram, I imagine that out there with people who perhaps don't meditate quite so much and don't have such a clear understanding of the larger context of our, the unfoldment of our fate as worldly beings and our destiny as spirit. I imagine that the intensity of that anxiety is even much greater, and that anxiety is an energy that can grow, can augment exponentially, and as conditions deteriorate in the world, which of course I think everyone by now can see that they are rapidly doing, on pretty much every level and probably in every quadrant of the planet. That anxiety may soon reach a level that's intolerable. And so therefore, a retreat in which we explore the actual nature of anxiety, what constitutes it, what is its function, and even more perhaps practically to understand what I would now call, having thought about it a bit today, the 10 major defenses against anxiety, which people tend to adopt. And those defenses, of course, will ultimately fail, and they will either worsen the anxiety or even produce karmic consequences far worse than mere anxiety. So the relevance of knowing the cure for anxiety, which I think will shock most people, and the ultimate cause of it, which is perhaps even more shocking, will, I think, enable an overcoming of the barrier that keeps the ego trapped in a kind of corral of anxiety, or at least the anxiety creates a kind of electric fence that prevents the consciousness from daring to cross beyond the reach of that, what we might refer to as a kind of master emotion. So to understand its etiology, how and why and from where it grows, and how to either completely, immediately, or gradually decrease the intensity of the vibrational waves of anxiety until it's not even noticeable, or completely transcend its field of action. And silence those waves until there is a clear mirror surface to the consciousness that reflects the light of the Absolute Self. So that's the purpose and practice of Sat Yoga. And dealing with anxiety in a very direct way will become ever more important for people who will require immediate salvation from unbearable states. And so those who have the ability, who have gone through and passed your own anxious boundaries, will be able to help others also free themselves from that illusory capture by the kind of ego program that has created an incoherence in the mind that prevents the recognition of the unreality of the paradigmatic structure that consciousness creates about itself and its relations to others and its capacity and worthiness even to receive the grace of liberation. And so the overcoming of those obstacles is perhaps the core knowledge that must be internalized to live in freedom. And if everyone is not yet motivated to achieve that goal urgently, I suggest that you soon will be. But that if you wait too long and the anxiety gets too great, you may not then be able to do the practice. There may be too much of a desperate need for a quick fix, a defense that is more attached to the lower death drive than the upper. And so to avoid that fate, the realization of the Absolute Self probably should be your highest priority at this very moment.